We are now live. We're waiting for Brother Rashid. Well, let me say this. I'm Brother Rashid, and we're waiting for Brother Rashid to call in. I'm Rasheed. That's Rashid. Actually, to be honest with you, my name is spelled Rashid. But when they enacted the the Patriot Act, they forced me to change the spelling of my name from ID to EED. So you're listening to the Red Pill Diaries, another edition, another session, another episode, and we're glad that you joined us. Now, I want to say this, as I was just saying to you all, they made me change my name, which is crazy, right? They made me change my name from Rashid, which my real estate license, medicine or whatever. If I got a prescription filled, it was in that. Doctor's appointments, all of this stuff. Rashid. After making me switch, it took about 3 years for everything to update, and now it's spelling Rasheed. Even in my Taekwondo class, if you're familiar with my martial art, I took Taekwondo, I took Yoshikai, took a little judo, a little jujitsu, and also I am in the Bard combat, which is a form of modern day kung fu that is practical today. It's not the kung fu that you see on TV. It's not that foolishness. It's not anything that is not practical and self-defense. It is actually a practical martial arts. Okay. I know this show today is what is it? News and politics, or politics and news. But I just want to give some of you all who are new to the show just an introduction to who I am. If you haven't listened to the Star and Crescent Report over at Blog Talk Radio /Hiram 1555, that's the Star and Crescent Report. That show there has been on the air for over a decade. We're going into our 12th year on the air over there. Okay. We also have a blog called the Hiram's 1555 blog. That's HIRAM 1555.com. In all of its forms, from the salamjournal.org to salamjournal.com to the Hiram's 1555 blog, that has been raging since 2000, or about since 2000 or something like that. So, or a little bit even before that. I believe it was 1998 or 99. It could have been. So we've been on the internet. I'm not fluent in all of this internet stuff. I'm a kid of the 70s, you see. So I don't all this lingo and stuff that goes on, I'm learning. Okay, so you have to bear with you, brother. Okay, but we're talking about a lot of things that's going on. And before we get into all that, I just want to introduce you to who I am. All right, my family is in martial arts. We've always been in martial arts. I've been down for the last practically month. This is the longest that I've been without practicing martial arts in an academy or something like that. I caught bronchitis. Then from the bronchitis, I caught COVID-19. And believe me, I don't care what they're telling you about COVID-19. It's real. This COVID-19 had me down. It felt like my chest was about to explode. I won't stay on this long, but I want to talk to some of you all about the COVID-19 situation, since a lot of people are going around saying black people don't get it. And it is hitting the black community very hard. The black, brown, and somewhat red and yellow communities hard, but specifically the black and the brown community, with emphasis on the black community, because we're catching hell with this COVID-19. We have the worst medical care in the country. Even when we have good insurance, the physicians don't look at us in the light that they look at other people. So a lot of symptoms go by. But anyway, I was training, and one day I'm like, oh, my shoulder is hurting. And the next day I was telling my wife, I said, oh my God, my shoulder and my neck and my clavicle bone, all of this is killing me, right? And I couldn't lift my shoulder. I couldn't do anything. And I'm thinking it's a symptom of the rotator's cuff, because I have 2 damaged rotator's cuffs from jujitsu. And I'm thinking maybe it's flaring up. Now it's hurting real bad. But next thing you know, fluid builds into my chest and into my lungs, and I'm having problems. I'm having hot flashes, cold flashes. I'm shaking. I can't hardly breathe. All of this stuff. And if I wouldn't have had sense enough early on to do a lot of prepping for this coming economic collapse, I believe these things would have taken advantage and would have killed me. I lost a cousin June 28th of this year. We grew up together. She was like my little sister. Okay. This is we're going to talk about news, but this is news also because it's dealing with the COVID-19 thing. Okay. So have patience with your brother. So my cousin Tamika, she passed away. We grew up like brother and sister, you know. We always stayed close or next to each other. My mom is her mom, older sister, and all of this stuff. So we grew up constantly. She was the only child. So of course, me being roughly 2 years older than her, I took her on as my little sister. But she passed away, and I'm saying that to say this to you all. She went to the hospital. She was sick. She stayed at home for the longest. She was sick. And when she went to the hospital, they diagnosed her with COVID. She went home. She went back because it got worse. Then it cleared up in the hospital, and the doctors told us that everything would be okay. And then the next thing we know, that morning, my mom got a call. I didn't know till later on that day because I was at martial arts. And my mom called me. She said, hey, she left a couple messages on my phone. Stop by here before you go home. I've been trying to reach you all day, blah, blah, blah. So I stopped by my mom's house, and I know everything was shaky because my nieces were over there. My brother was there. My sister was there. And my mom was sitting down. And normally when I come, she stands and she gives me a hug and, you know, she greets me. And she started doing this and looking all strange. Just I have something to tell you. And I'm thinking, okay, all right, whatever. So I sit down, and immediately she told me, Mika passed away. And I was like, huh? Yeah, and I'm thinking maybe it was a friend of mine because I have a few friends named Tamika also. And she said, no, Mika, Meek. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. And what they were saying is that that day before, the doctor said that she was improving, her symptoms was improving, everything was improving. And what happened was later on that night, things got real bad. And she passed away that night, or what you could say early that morning or whatever like this. And what I'm saying to you is this: had I known she was sick at the time, because usually we kept tabs on each other, but I would have offered her antibiotics. People say, well, antibiotics can't do anything for COVID. COVID is a virus. True. But the symptoms of the virus that it leaves in you, it builds up a bacteria in you, a bacteria that causes bronchitis, that causes other things. And I believe that I was getting all that stuff. But going back to what I was saying, me and my family, we prepared for this coming economic collapse, and we're still preparing as best we can. And we bought, and I want to inform all of you who may be listening later, who may join the chat later, all of this, just listen to me. I started preparing and buying fish antibiotics a long time ago. Everything from clindamycin to azithromycin to penicillin to all, because all of these, even though it says not for human consumption, these things are under U.S. law mandated to be able for people to use. They don't tell you those things. So I bought all of these things, and I got sick, and that stuff was helping me. It helped me get back. And when I stopped taking it, I got so sick that I had to go out. I had to be rushed out to the hospital. I stopped taking it because it was clearing up the symptoms in me. And when I got out there, the first thing they told me that I was totally dehydrated, and that I had symptoms of COVID. They took the test. I got they swabbed my nose or whatever, and it's an unpleasant feeling because it goes all the way up here, when they swab your nose. And I know what the show is called, but you're gonna give me a little time with you, okay? We've been on air for 9 minutes. Give me a few more minutes to just talk to you because this is serious. COVID is serious, okay? I'm getting a little message here, but anyway, so I got there. They gave me Tramadol for pain. They gave me prednisone for my chest to open up my chest muscles. Prednisone is a steroid. I already had some prednisone. I'm telling you, taking this stuff, and me and my family, we all came down. The whole household came down with it. My babies, everything. But now I was still giving them some, but I, being Mr. I'm feeling better, I stopped doing it. So this is where it got me in the same, almost in the same position of my cousin. And they told me evidently I had been taking antibiotics. They kind of knew it. They said, and they figured I stopped, because when they looked at the chest X-rays and everything, they were telling me that was the thing that saved me from it getting worse. They gave me a heavy strength azithromycin. As a matter of fact, my azithromycin was even a higher dosage than what the hospital gave me. And within a few days after going to the hospital, almost all of the symptoms, except I still get the little lightheadedness from time to time, and I get like chills and cold and hot sweats and stuff like that. And they told me expect that for the next 3 weeks to 3 months. Okay. So what I'm telling you is you need to start prepping. And I can vouch for this. My mom got sick not too long after that with the same thing. I started giving her the prednisone, the pearls, what they call pearls. I have a lot of those too. You take them there for coughs, and they suppress your coughs, because a lot of times you can have panic attacks or asthma attack, or you can induce a minor heart attack on you or stroke by constantly coughing. Okay, I gave her that, and I gave her azithromycin, and then I would switch it out with where is the bottle over here? Is this it? Amoxicillin and clindamycin. And when she went to the urgent care, they told her that she was pretty good. All signs, they told her the same things with me. So but she was feeling the exact same way I was feeling. When she got back, she took it for about 4 or 5 more days. My mom, the next time when she called me, I was like, "Mom, you sound better. You sound a whole lot better." And she said, "I'm feeling better." She said, "I got up and I cooked fish and blah, blah." I was like, okay. So what I'm telling you is, in the midst of this, you know that we have bad health care. You know we're looked at as second, third, and fourth class citizens in this society. Make some preparations. Go to these sites and order you a fish penicillin. Some people say horse penicillin or other penicillin. I can't vouch for that stuff, but I can vouch for the antibiotics that are made for fish, that you treat your fish in your fish tanks and your aquariums. I can vouch for that. Try, if you can, to get the capsules or the pills or the capsules. Okay, that will help you a lot in the midst of all this. Now, with all that said, oh man, I tell you, it's just so much going on right now. And I'm seeing YouTube Studio, but it's not allowing me into the YouTube Studio. So people maybe, this is the stuff that I go through all the time to try to get my show on the air and try to get things going. Even with the Star and Crescent Report, there's always something to try to limit the progress of what I'm doing. But I'll keep on going. The show today is titled News and Politics. And what we're going to talk about is the politics of the day. Okay. There's so many things. As a matter of fact, as I'm talking to you and I'm scrolling the news, look what happens. The headline in the Daily News from the UK is called dailynews.co.uk. The headline in one of the articles is titled, "California Chicken Plant is Forced to Shut Down After 8 Employees Die from COVID-19 and at least 350 more test positive for the virus." Now, that's ironic that we're talking about this, because due to the fact that I was talking about this, and then I was reading some articles where all around the country you have different plants closing down, not just in America, but around the world, from this contamination of the COVID virus. This is why it's very important to try to make sure that you take your security in the life and your life security very seriously, especially if you have a family. Because more so than your own self, you would like to secure the lives of your wife, your children, or your mother, or your husband if you're married, or your sisters or your brothers or your nieces and your nephews, or even other family members like uncles, aunts, cousins, and if you're still blessed to have your grandparents, those people. You need to, if you say, well, it's $40 for a bottle of penicillin or It's $40 for a bottle of amoxicillin, or it's $30 for that, and I can't afford that. Well, then you have to look at it. You go to McDonald's, you go to these fast food restaurants, or you order out, or you buy non-necessity goods, or you buy things that you really don't need that are not food wise, but maybe phones or upgrades on phones, or things that you can live without. You're telling me that your life and the security of your family's lives are not that important? Think about it like this. If you go to the doctor, you'll be waiting. Sometimes you have to make appointments unless you go to the emergency room. And I know down in Florida, in Panhandle, in Pensacola, if you want to be seen, now they have it where you have to pay before you even leave out of the emergency room. You have to pay at least $200-300, right? Just before you get out of there. Then they write you up 3, 4, 5, 6 prescriptions. Then you have to go to the pharmacy and get those prescriptions filled. That's another $100, $200, $300 right there, right? So now you upwards anywhere from $400 to $600, and a lot of your time, because if you go, sometimes you're there 8, 10, 12 hours in the hospital if they don't keep you, and then the bill goes into the thousands out of pocket, okay, or the tens of thousands. But you can remedy that by, I'm not saying buy everything at one time. I'm saying buy a bottle of penicillin, $30. You get, I think, what is it, 100 in it? I have them here somewhere. Where? A bottle of penicillin, 100 of them in there. You got clindamycin, a bottle of 30. You have amoxicillin, a bottle of 100. You got zithromycin, a bottle of 10. Some of that is like 30, 40, 50, even $60. But you can buy them one at a time and stock up on this stuff so that you're not reliant on those people who don't treat you right and don't look at you as don't look at you as a citizen. They look at you as a half class or second class or third or fourth class citizen. And then you can secure your family. If you get a abscess on your mouth, you can deal with it. What if the grid goes down? What are you going to do with your family if they get sick or they get some kind of infection? What are you going to do without access to hospitals, without access to pharmacies, without access to any? What are you going to do? This is what I'm asking you. We need to look at this. See, we're talking about news and politics. This is news that you should know. If you love your family, more so than yourself, because any man worth his salt loves himself so much, but he loves his family and he's willing to die for the security of his family. And he's willing to sacrifice for the security of his loved ones. If you're any man worth your salt or any woman worth your salt, you're telling me that your family is not worth 30 or 40 or 50 or $60 at a time? You're telling me that you can't forego the upgrade on your iPhone? You can't forego the screen protector or the case holder or the new pair of $80 jeans or the new shirt or the food that you're trying at McDonald's or anywhere else? You're telling me you can't let that go long enough to secure your family in times when there is a shortage of everything? If you cannot forego those things, then you are not worth the salt that living's bread. That's seriously. I'm talking to you seriously. A man to man, man to woman, man to family. I'm telling you what's real. This COVID stuff is serious. Some of us, we like conspiracies and we like all kinds of other stuff, but I'm telling you what's real. I've experienced it firsthand. I've lost family members to it. People say, well, COVID, I've heard this, and I've heard this even in one of my martial arts academies that I attend, by some of the people. They say, well, COVID doesn't kill you if you have underlying or existing ailments, then it just metastasizes that and makes it worse, and that kills you. It doesn't matter. You have a linchpin, and COVID is that linchpin. Why not have something as a buffer? I'm asking you this. Why not have a buffer zone in between all of this? Huh? I'm asking you this because some of you act as though What I'm saying is not real. Some of you are acting as if common sense is not so common today, which it is not. So your brother Rashid is asking you to think about your family security and start storing up. Listen, there are things that you don't eat nowadays, ramen noodles, because they're not good for your health and all. But if you have to, because look what's going on. I'm asking you, look what's going on. People are being fired. They're being laid off. I was looking at an article. Let me see if I can find the article as I'm talking to you, because I don't want to misquote it. Give me a second to find this article. What was it? It was some company that was giving their employees a choice. They were already furloughed or laid off. They were giving them a choice to quit, or it was something or continue to furlough before being fired. So what they were saying is either quit or we're gonna fire you. This is happening. We have unheard of unemployment in America and around the globe, and it's not going to get better. We have a huge drop in wealth among people, and there's a great gap in wealth disparity in America and around the world. And you're still not taking things seriously. You're thinking that there will be a rebound. You're buying into the hoopla of the political campaign of Joe Biden and Trump. You're buying into that America's going to rebound. That is not how it's going to happen. As a matter of fact, I was while I'm looking for that, and I'm overlooking it because I'm talking to you all. There was a article that came out today. And it was by the Fed, and the Federal Reserve Chairman, and the Fed. And they were talking about how the economy is improving. Listen, I want you to understand this. This is what they're saying to you. And some of you fall for, the majority of you fall for this hook, line, and sinker. The economy is improving, but we're going to keep interest rates near zero for the foreseeable future for at least 4 to 5 years. And listen, unemployment will remain high. How in the hell can the economy be rebounding and the people who are the base for the economics of America are losing their jobs? Talk to me. How can the economy be rebounding when more and more people are out of work? More and more businesses are shuttering or shutting down. There are more furloughs and layoffs, right? And more medium-sized businesses are in debt up to their eyeball and looking for a handout or a bailout from the government. I'm asking you this because some of us, we don't take things like this seriously. Some of us just don't put things to heart. We don't analyze what is being told to us, right? We just don't do it, and so we'll pay the price for this. We will pay the price for this, whether you want to accept this or not. As a matter of fact, when I was talking to you about martial arts, see, this is let's see, there we are, NABARD. And this is NABARD. Oh, let me get NABARD. NABARD is a modern form of combat. It is taken from ancient days and put into a modern perspective, okay? For those of you who were here or who will join us at the beginning, okay? But anyway, back to this. So you see unheard of unemployment, unheard of job closings and business shuttering and bankruptcies, right? From staple businesses like Bed and Bath, right? Sears. I remember Gaffer's and Parisians and Dillard's and all of these places are all in Kmart, right? All of these are under the burden of debt and massive layoffs and bankruptcies and closures. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. And yet you still believe that there's an economic rebound. If you still believe that, contact me at hiram1555.com or hiram1555 at yahoo.com and send me $100,000, and I'm going to sell you the entire state of Texas. Okay? If you're that naive, I might as well get on it, right? I might as well make some money from a fool. If other people are exploiting you and you don't want to hear the truth and you're acting foolish, right? And you're just handing out money, hand me some. It's crazy. It's crazy. It is absolutely insane for you to believe that there will be an economic rebound. As a matter of fact, let me Google something for you. Okay, give me a second. Give me a second. All right. Fed says unemployment will remain high. All right. I'm trying to find one of today because they're showing me when the Fed said this in June and when he said it in July. And I'm trying to find something on this because I was reading it the other day and I thought it was I could just Google it and pull it up real quick. I see something according on this matter, but I don't want to talk to this. But let's go to something real quick while we're on this. Let's go to the Economic Collapse blog, okay? And let's read. They have an article titled, "Things Have Gotten So Bad That 1 Million New Claims for Unemployment Benefits in 1 Week is Considered Good News." Now, if that's good news, I hate to hear bad news. This is from the Economics Collapse blog, okay? Now, let's read a little bit of it. The Labor Department announced on Thursday that another 1.006 million Americans filed new claims for unemployment benefits last week. Prior to this year, the all-time record for a single week was just 695,000. And so the number of Americans that are losing their jobs each week continues to remain at a catastrophic level. Do you understand what is going on? Let me see something. Let's see if we can get an understanding. The word catastrophic means involving or causing sudden great damage or suffering, extremely unfortunate or unsuccessful, disastrous, calamitous, cataclysmic, ruinous, tragic, fatal, involving a sudden and large-scale alteration in state. You understand what that means? So when he describes this situation as catastrophic, it's ruinous, right? It's disastrous. It is a large-scale alteration of the state of the republic. It is tragic. It is cataclysmic, calamitous, right? And fatal. Those are some heavy words to describe the economic situation, the job situation in America, right? Let's go a little further, okay? Because you got to understand these things. We talked for about 20 minutes, 22 minutes on being self-sufficient and being smart